Here we are on week 3. This is going to be her second time under saddle. The noise will stop in a little bit once husband gets off the machine and actually leaves the property. I didn't even try to ride her until the second week here because I had a lot of groundwork to do, respect and just moving her body and getting to know each other, because she's never had to do anything except be led. She never wore a saddle or a bridle, just a halter and with a chain over her nose, mostly for the year prior to coming here, and before that she was just sitting in a pen and never had to be led anywhere. So we're doing really good, moving along as much as we can with the weather and the footing. Her first month here, I was working her 4 times a week, and after that was going to go down to about 3 times a week. So again, with the weather, you know, sometimes I am able to work her 4 hours and sometimes only 3 a week, and that's usually an hour per session. So I will set up the camera, tape a little bit, cut it and tape a little bit more, especially when I'm by myself. And a lot of time the camera just shuts off on me. But the part that does get taped, nothing gets edited out of it. So I just splice a few sections together, so you're seeing everything that happens. Good, bad, and ugly. And most of it's good, but sometimes she's a little fresh. And she doesn't mind the whole cinching part at this point. You know, I let her know it's coming and I cinch her in increments, but her main complaint now is, I just don't like this. I don't like this saddle. I don't like the straps on it. And so I just, before I get on her and ride her for the second time, I need her to feel that saddle, feel what it does when she makes hard turns, when the strings hit her. She doesn't mind the rider on her back. She's not going, oh my gosh, there's a human on my back, or even the saddle being on her and cinched around her middle, but the string she minds a lot. And when I put the back cinch on her last time, of course she didn't care for that. So she's still got a little more bucks to get out. My 2 horses, when I turn them loose, they feel good, you know, and they express themselves. So my horse Ruger, he'll buck and kick out every time if I turn him loose with that saddle, almost every time. But he doesn't do an under saddle. And so they're never allowed to do that under saddle, or at least will get corrected. So I want them to just feel that, you know, she's gone her whole life, 5.5 years, not knowing that the feelings that that saddle's going to produce for her. So just want to refresh her every time and not just hop on her. Although one time I did just pull her out of the pen and just hop on her. I don't know if it was before this or after this, without doing anything, just so I wanted my husband to take a picture, take a short video for my phone, and she was fine. So I am insisting that she doesn't turn and face me when I want her to lunge and stay on the circle. I'm very specific, and that she does not turn and face me unless I ask her to. So because she's feeling a little fresh, I want to move her and move her and move her. So disengage her hindquarters, change her direction, and I twirl that rope toward her shoulder to tell her to stay out of my circle, because she's very fond of coming in to you for security or just being bold and brazen. So I am always stepping toward her and telling her, do not come into my circle. She has some long legs here, and when she kicks out, I don't need to be in the way of that. So help keep her out of my circle. Whenever I'm lunging, I am walking either behind them a little bit or toward their midsection and toward them to get them to go away. If I spanked her, it was because I asked her and she didn't go, and so then I get a little stronger with the end of that.
She's got to get used to the feel of that.
Could use a whip to even get a further distance. So here now I'm just going to turn her loose. I have a camera in one hand, so I'm trying to keep her going with my left hand toward her hindquarters and telling her to move out. Again, I just want her to feel everything that saddle has to offer, so it doesn't happen when I'm on her.
Go on here.
And just understand that. And every time she should complain less and less.
Whoa, what'd she
but
see?
Yeah, she's very opinionated on lots of things. But she's also very smart, and every time I get her out, she just amazes me with how smart she is and her potential for learning. I've worked with her after this. Of course, it takes me a while to get these videos loaded, and we've only had one session, the last one that I had with her, to where she really wanted to fight me, and that was going through some water that she had gone through before.
But she still has these straps.
So
and the flag.
just tied that string up a little bit.
All right, go on.
And
go on.
She still has those flaps.
Off you go.
Huffing and puffing. Although I never have them do more than a few laps. I really don't want to tire them physically. I want to work them mentally and get them in tune. So I'm just going to go around a little bit more.
She's got to work that out, that she can't get thin
and
that.
At the end, I will get on her again, and if you watch my video before this of the very first ride, you'll see how much she's improved from one to the next. And then again, going forward, you'll see the improvement. And all of my sessions that I have with my 1 hour sessions, which are most of them, and not working in 2 hour increments, I do all the groundwork first, and then the riding is usually
not scared of it. Good girl.
10-15 minutes. This is how I prefer to do it, unless I'm going out on the trail, which you'd have to build them up a little bit. I like to do it short and sweet, and just end on a positive note and let them chew on that, There's other ways of doing it, but this is the way I find it works best for me and the horse. You can certainly ride the horse for an hour.
I know.
But I'm just redoing all my groundwork and just building on that. So every ride is easier for
you gotta deal with it.
Everyone all the way around. So getting ready here. There's just a picture of her still. And now I'm gonna get on her And this is going to be the first time riding her in Dr. Cook's bitless bridle. After this day, I went back to the rope halter for several sessions, and then I tried the bitless bridle again, and she was much better. Because she knows what's expected under saddle now, and she was less focused on the bridle. But on this session, she's totally fixated on the rings where the reins are attached. And for her second ride, I just couldn't talk to her too much. She's got them reins in her mouth right there. She used to take the chain from the lead at the place she was before and just put that in her mouth. She'll unlock the door by putting the chain in her mouth. We have it double locked. So she's very oral for a mare. And I just found it got in my way here. So all horses are different, and I start all horses bitless, whether it's in a double diamond rope halter with reins attached or Dr. Cook's bitless bridle. I start them all bitless, and I rehab all horses bitless. So I just found that I had more control with the rope halter, and that was just because she wasn't focused on trying to grab the reins because they were attached further down. But I feel confident than any bitted bridle, or I would use one. I feel confident bitless, and especially just building in a one rein stop, knowing that I can bring the horse to a stop if I had to in an emergency. So I flexed her to a halt right here just because she moved a little, even though she stood at first. When she moved a little, I just flexed her. So you can see that she's still having a hard time thinking about everything, the bridle, my weight, carrying her own body, and then with my weight added, it's a lot, you know, and especially when she's only been sat on for, 15 minutes prior to this. So you'll just see her getting better and better each ride, even though they're short, and I'm going to start doing some trot work with her, and I just need to get her busy mentally by exposing her to, I think, more obstacles, and just getting her busy with walk-trot transitions to keep her focused. She's just, her brain goes a mile a minute, and she needs to be challenged because after she's been ridden 10-15 minutes, she wants to know what's next, what's new and exciting. So I want to take her out on the trail, and that'll be a lot more exciting for her, instead of going, why are we going around in this ring? So that's what we did on the next ride. Just headed out, I think it was the next ride, maybe it was one after that. No, it was next. Headed out on the trail a little bit, went out, came back, went out, came back. So if you want to follow along, should be posting another video soon, and to see her progress. So I'm going to take off this bridle and put on the rope halter just to get her paying attention more and her focus off of biting on the reins. Asking her to drop her head. It's a good practice when putting bridle on and off or halter, that every time you have the horse drop their head, because it's a brace or just even a defiance raising their head up, so you can't get them. When a young horse backs up, I just back up with them. And I never chase her head to bridle her. If she tipped her head out to the right to leave, I would draw back to draw her head to me. I don't chase them. So I'm telling her to drop her head, and I would get it lower if I wasn't taping. Just have her drop it till it's lower. You shouldn't have to put your arms up over your shoulders to bridle the horse just because you can. You should get the horse to drop their head so you can bridle them. So if somebody shorter than you needs to bridle, they can do it. And again, it's just a brace if they put their head up and won't drop it for you that you need to address. So she's doing good at the mounting block and not swinging her bum out, because we've addressed that in several training sessions. But she did want to walk off there momentarily, or for a second. I always just want to stand and pet on them a bit so they get used to standing there and never just walking off. Every time. Stand to be mounted. It's a safety issue. And that's from the very first ride. The horse should be able to stand to be mounted. Should be able to have that much control of them. She still goes for the hat. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy these videos. And stay tuned for the next time. Just fussing, so I bump her around a little bit.
She starts moving. Walk on. Moving her mouth around, frustrated. Back up and ooh, really. So she's never been bitted that I know of. Never had a saddle on that I know of. But she has never had to work a day in her life.